Half a decade, guys. It's the end of a chapter. The end of an era. And now it's time for a new one. Whew. Shooting an impromptu video here. This is not your typical sort of day. Just found out that I have been terminated from my employment as a pharmacist. Gonna set this box of goodies up here and take a deep breath. Had a dentist appointment this morning. My teeth feel really clean. It's like this sense of not wanting to eat for a while, you know, because they're literally that clean. You don't want to mess them up again. But yeah, different sort of day. Just kind of working through how I'm feeling about this right now. Been a consultant pharmacist for the last 5 years. I graduated from pharmacy school in 2018, and that's what I went to school for, right? For 6 years. With the best of intentions. You know, thinking I'm gonna put a dent in this world and confer it with a positive impact, right? Leave it in a better place than when I got here. And my first name is Jason. It's sort of Greek for healer. And my middle name is Luke, which is something to the effect of to give light. And not to buy into that too much, but just always identified as someone who's here to help and to illuminate potentially problematic aspects of society, and really just to want the best for people, man, and to increase the vibration of this world so that we're not relying on just the myriad chemical crutches of today, even caffeine, coffee, not least of which, but certainly the ever distracting nature of alcohol, which has just been so normalized, and just the plethora of other drugs and pharmaceuticals, which when I was in school, you know, being trained on and learning about, and thinking that that was the tool, that was the sword that I was sharpening throughout those 6 years of schooling, that I was going to use to put that dent in the universe, to really leave my mark, to really leave the world in a better place than I found it. And throughout this journey of becoming a pharmacist, having my own personal struggles to contend with in terms of my own health with eosinophilic esophagitis, and literally having an esophagus that was so inflamed that I was brought to my knees just hundreds of times throughout my late teens and early 20s. And it makes me emotional to think about all of the anxiety that I needlessly endured just because I was brought up on processed packaged foods. And the one conclusion that I've come to after 5 years of being a pharmacist and just reviewing countless thousands of patient charts, my own health journey, achieving remission with a disease that apparently that's not possible, you know, there's no explanation for. The one conclusion that I've come to is that on the macro, you've got basically two choices in this life. You can pay the farmer on the front end to cultivate good health, or you can pay the pharmacy on the back end in an attempt to buy back that health. And I've just simply opted for the former. And that's how I've overcome eosinophilic esophagitis. And I have an upper endoscopy coming up in a few months in, I believe, either September or October, where I will be documenting that and just showing you guys the process for that, what I've been through, and just the before and after imaging of my esophagus. You know, I guess the ideal number of upper endoscopies would be 2 and through, right? It's like you get the first one to get diagnosed, then you get the second one to show that you're in remission. And it's something that I'm so powerfully passionate about, is that, as Hippocrates said, we can let food be thy medicine. And I know it's so hard for people because we're just inundated with these processed packaged foods that come in bags, boxes, cans, and containers. It's like we're swimming in it. And it's very difficult to avoid because it's literally everywhere. Everywhere you turn, it doesn't matter. It's there. And it just gets so normalized because that's what everyone else is doing. But the power of food is supra physiological, like supra pharmaceutical. It's so incredibly powerful. And so this termination from my position as a pharmacist, it's really good for me to introspect and ask myself, what am I doing here? Am I giving my greatest gift? Am I really using the proper tool to leave an indelible mark on the world? You know, to leave it in a better place. Is that the best tool that I have? Or do I have other faculties? Do I have the gift of gab? Do I have the charisma? Do I have the ability to influence people with ideas that are revolutionary? Telling people about the bioaccumulative nature of industrial seed oils and the 7 years that it takes to detoxify from them. You know, I was lucky. I had an Australian savant who had my back. I just flew out to meet him in Brisbane at the end of last year to thank him. It's been 8 years, man, and the life that I lead nowadays, like, literally will bring me to tears. I'll just be driving along and maybe getting out of my car, walking into the gym, and I just start to tear up when I think about how much better my life has gotten when I put food first and I fixed my physiology, and just how much love and compassion I have for people, and, you know, just not taking things personally and realizing that, man, everything's gonna be okay. Like, we're all just doing our best with the resources that we have, and I need to do better for you guys. I need to really show you behind the curtain and just show you what being healthy actually means, because there's such a paucity of proper examples out there of healthy individuals that have an A1C below 5, that have a fasting glucose in the 70s or 80s, a testosterone above 800, a low fasting insulin, a low oxidized LDL, a good HDL to triglyceride ratio, right? So the list goes on and on. What you do have examples of are chronic disease, and that's precisely what I've overcome. Eosinophilic esophagitis is the disease that I defied. And in that process of defying it, it redefined me. I became a different person. I became more capable, and it unleashed a lot of faculties that were being monopolized, man, just by this background anxiety that I would experience. You know, just trying to go out and have a decent meal with my friends Nick and John, and just the prospect of food impacting my esophagus, as it did so many times throughout this period of my life, it really took its toll on me mentally. And just being now on the other side of that struggle, namely experiencing serenity and being at ease with myself, that allows me to just have a much better experience that I really just wish I could give to others. Because it's like your body and brain can be likened to this vehicle that you're using to navigate your life. And the question is, what is the quality of that experience? Is the vehicle that's been cared for? It's had the spark plugs changed out. It's had regular oil changes, that is running on the most optimal possible fuel for that particular vehicle. I mean, how many of us, if our body and brain was a car, would eagerly invite like our friends and family, like our loved ones, into that vehicle, into that experience, realizing that that so greatly directly impacts the way that we navigate and experience life at the first person phenomenological experience. Like, how many people would be eager to invite others into their world, to see life through their eyes, to have the thoughts that they have, right? I think a lot of us are afraid of that. We're afraid of not drowning out the noise. We want to drown that out with these chemical crutches and copes. And we don't want to just sit there and meditate for 10 days in Vipassana retreat and face the music, as it were, in quietude and silence and solitude. I think we're afraid of what we might see, what we might experience. So this marks the end of a chapter for me in my life. And maybe it's a gift in disguise. You know, because in the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, you know, the one day, like eventually when it happens, when I'm ready to move and I'm ready to pursue my passion, it's like I'm thinking about, how am I going to leave these guys behind? You know, I've got like all of these homes that I consult at. Like, you know, I got to write out like a manual, like all the T's that I crossed and the I's that I dot, and just all of the people that I've befriended in the homes. Like, I need to leave them in a good place, right? To train the next generation or whomever is to follow. And guess they don't need me. That's okay. It's okay. And I offered just now to offer that training, but yeah, it's weird. So I'm just thinking now, like all of these concerns that I had in my mind, all of these barriers to exit, as it were just made up in my mind. Like, they weren't necessarily substantive obstacles that were somehow insurmountable, right? So this would be a good time to introspect and course correct and get in alignment with what's ultimately important to me, which is healing humanity. Like, actually living up to my name. I think if I was on my deathbed and I could just have said, you know what, I went out and did it. Like, maybe I didn't save the entire world from seed oils and chronic disease, but I spared at least 1 million. And I made the world a better place. I made it healthier, made it a kinder, loving place. It's like, I could rest my hat on that. I could hang my hat on that. You know, obviously if today was my last day, I would be really sad. I would be really regretful that I didn't go all out, that I didn't propagate that message, that I didn't do what is, in my estimation, to be my due diligence and the reason that I came this way, which is to health max humanity, to give people better bodies and brains to experience this very sacred, transient human experience via, and to use the innate proclivities that I have as as a speaker and just as a good person who wants the best for people, man, like genuinely wants the best and is trying to identify the best way to confer that effect. Half a decade, guys. It's the end of a chapter, the end of an era. And now it's time for a new one. Jason, Actualization. Showing you guys behind the curtain. Everything that I do to Health Max. Like, I'm so excited by this. All of the unique labs that I get drawn that are more indicative of health and more important that most doctors don't know about. All of the health hacks that I implement, the distilled water that I do, the nighttime routines, the sleep optimization, the training, the nutrition, just like a no holds barred fashion, like a map that you could follow and be rest assured is going to find your freedom, that inner ease, that mental clarity, no brain fog, no headaches, no nonsense. Just like a beautiful human experience and taking back your ancestral right to radical levels of health and wellness that I believe you're not only capable of, but deserving of. Guys, thanks for checking out this video. I love you guys very much. I'm here for you, figuring out my life right now and how things are going to move forward. But I'm always going to want the best. I'm always going to set a healthy example, and I'm always going to give you a peek into my inner life so that you can not have to blaze the trail for yourself like I did when I was 20 years old and I realized that nobody was coming to save me. Not my parents, right? Not my mom, dad, sister, or doctors, in spite of their otherwise great intentions, with full hearts, just wanting the best for me. I genuinely believe that, but realizing, like Harry Potter did in The Prisoner of Azkaban, when his godfather Sirius's soul is literally being sucked out of him by the Dementors, that his dad James, because he's dead, is not coming to cast the Patronus. Hermione says, I don't see him, he's not coming. And in a moment, with bravery and courage, he walks out to the edge of the pond and just casts an epic Patronus charm, man. Just like lights out.
Harry! Expecto Patronum!
Man, that's one of my favorite scenes of any movie of all time. It's so inspiring. Like, that scene literally moves me, man. And that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to, again, realize that nobody else is coming to save the world from seed oils. I'm going to be the one to cast the Patronus charm. Guys, I love you all very much. Please comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this, guys. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me in the future. I love you guys very much. And until next time, find your freedom. Take care. Peace.